You know, in a lot of reviews and videos that I've watched, people complain that Clay is so depressing and sad all the time. But I'm pretty sure this is why he doesn't smile in the show, because just look at it. Welcome back, guys. It's been a long time since I've done a video, and before I get into it, make sure you guys follow me on my Instagram and on my Twitter, because that's where I'll be posting a lot of my reviews, whether I write them or I post a clip about the video. But I haven't been able to do reviews lately because I've been so busy, especially with this whole coronavirus thing. I feel like I've been busier at work than ever. But one way to know what I'm doing is follow me on my social media, so just do it if you can, please. Anyway, like the title of this video says, this is going to concentrate on all the problems that I found with 13 Reasons Why Season 4. Now, don't get me wrong, all of them are not the best either. Season 1 to 3, I had so many feelings about that. I feel like each time it just got worse and worse. Season 1 wasn't that bad. I actually got into it, and then I was screaming at the TV the whole way because of what Hannah was doing and basically everybody's decisions in the show. So now we're at Season 4, and apparently this is the finale. I didn't realize that, but with the way that things ended, I was just like, well, that was a pretty crappy ending. But anyway, I still think that this show, or at least this season, was just the cherry on top on how horrible this show was. Because let's go back to Season 3. Season 3 literally made me like the rapist for some reason. They humanized him. They made him likable. And what's weird enough was that Bryce, whatever his name is in real life, he's actually a good actor, because I actually enjoyed him portraying Bryce in such a weird way. Like, I don't know why, but at the end of Season 3, I was like, man, you know what? Bryce wasn't a bad guy. But of course he is. Because guess what? In Season 4, the writers went, you know what? Bryce was a bad guy. So guess what they decided to do? They decided to turn him into a ghost. Kind of like what they did with Hannah in Season 2. So now Bryce is haunting Clay, Jessica, and same thing with Monty. Monty comes back in the form of a ghost. They're both tormenting these kids all over again. And to me, that is just a whole 180 from what they were doing in Season 3. And it makes no sense. Now, the main problem with this show to me is Clay. I think Clay overall has caused so many problems with this show. And obviously I'm not attacking the actor. I'm more talking about the way that this show was written and shot, because let's face it, this show takes itself way too serious on a lot of controversial topics. And it sucks because there are other shows like Riverdale, and I'm not saying Riverdale is terrible, but I'm saying Riverdale actually doesn't take itself serious, and they cover a lot of topics, but like I said, it doesn't take itself serious. In this case, 13 Reasons Why, it takes itself way too seriously, and it wants us to actually learn something from it, but it's actually not teaching us anything good. The main thing that I noticed off the bat was that this season was turned more into like a thriller or a horror, because there was just a lot of things that made no sense. For example, Bryce in the cabin scene has a bunch of bugs come out of his mouth. There's also a scene where Clay is like losing his mind, showing, like, basically trying to show us that he's going down this mental path of like insanity. And it kind of reminded me of that scene with Jared Leto's Joker, where he's just like going crazy. So it's like, what's going on? Is this Suicide Squad now? And I think that's what they were doing. Like, what happened to the aspect ratio of like the past and the present? Like, what is going on? And now we have Clay narrating, so everything just gets super intense, like I feel like for no reason. Speaking of narrators, we have Clay is narrating this story now, but before we had Arne, the super important character of Season 3, the one that like freaking solves everything and knew everything about everyone before she even went into the high school. And in this season, she literally turns into a background character. Like, I'm not even joking. She goes missing for about 3 or 4 episodes, like if she didn't even matter to the show. Like, she wasn't even present in Season 3. Why was she even cast? Like, I honestly think that Season 3 could have been the same show without her. And Season 4 is a good example of that, because she was barely in it. She barely played any major role in this season. And same thing goes with Winston. Winston was Monty's lover, I guess. He was pissed that, you know, they basically pinned the murder of Bryce on Monty, and that's what led to Monty getting killed in prison off camera. I remind you guys, because that was just a super lazy way of killing off somebody. And Winston basically at the end of the show, doesn't care anymore, because, oh, guess what? Monty is bad, so now I'm not gonna care. And he ends up falling with love with Alex. So it's like, what? Why are we building up all these storylines to come to nothing? Which is what happens basically at the end of the show. A bunch of nothing. They decide to turn Zach into an alcoholic this season for many reasons, I guess, because he killed Bryce, but he didn't, because he keeps telling people he killed Bryce, but guess what, dude, you didn't. And you should also be in jail. But yeah, he saves Alex from throwing himself off of a building. They make out, saves Alex again. So basically he's there to save Alex and comfort him in many ways. And also Zach has a scene where he's about to like hook up with some chick that's like knocked out, but there's no repercussions for that scene. Literally Charlie, all he says is like, do better. Okay, I'm just not gonna try hook up with like unconscious chicks anymore. So it's like, what? And like I say, guys, there's a lot of controversial topics in this show. So let's get into one of the ones that was just really on the nose, and that's the fight at school between Diego and Justin, because they're both fighting for Jessica. Like, I never understand Jessica at all. Like, it's like she's trying to do good for women and stuff like that, but then she turns around and starts hooking up with like a bunch of dudes. So it's like, what message are you trying to send to these people? Like, I get it that this is a drama, but like, come on, dude, like stick to one guy. So I feel like Diego and Jessica were just basically hooking up so we can see Justin pissed off, and that's what leads to the fight, which then a cop breaks up this fight, which, by the way, yeah, they put cops inside of this high school because it's so messed up. They might as well just shut down this high school. And of course, you know, Diego being Latino/black gets handcuffed, and you know, then we get the whole altercation of like, you know, why are you doing this? Is it because I'm black? Blah blah blah. And then this leads into a riot, which, you know, just they're basically like checking off, like, you know, okay, you know, this is what's going on in today's world. Like, okay, now let's tackle a riot, which is so random, and is led by Clay, of course, because he's the hero of the story, where in my eyes he's freaking the villain in this story. So yeah, we have a riot in this season. But to top it all off, I think one of the major points about this season is that nobody gets in trouble. And it brings me back to the ending of season 2, where Tyler was about to shoot up the school and they covered it up, Clay again. Nothing happens with that storyline either. It's like it just builds up to a whole bunch of nothing because everybody's on edge. You know, Tony's watching him the whole time. And also Tony, randomly getting sidetracked here, but he becomes a professional boxer now. And it's hilarious because I cannot see him being like an actual boxer, and this show does not help him at all because he's literally getting pounded left and right, and then out of nowhere pulls out a uppercut and just destroys his opponent. Like if he was One Punch Man. Literally, that's what they turned him into in this show. But anyway, going back to Tyler's story, you guys remember how there was almost a school shooting in season 2? The writers were like, you know what, we kinda faked everybody out with that scene, so let's actually do a school shooting. And yeah, that episode was actually pretty intense, and I was like, holy crap, I wonder who it is. But then as I was watching the episode, I realized like, okay, this school shooter is taking his sweet ass time in shooting up people. So I was just like, okay, something has to be going on. We find out that, guess what, it was a fake school shooting. Why would somebody have a fake school shooting in no real life scenario? And as serious as this show takes itself, it would never happen. Like, I don't even know what made the writers go, yeah, this would be a good idea. Yeah, it wasn't a good idea at all, because yeah, the episode was great. There was a lot of tension. You actually think, it makes you think that Tyler might be behind this again. Tony runs off, then Clay's like trying to be the hero again. And then just to find out that this was all fake and done by the school with, you know, officers shooting blanks into the air just to get a proper response. Yeah, that would traumatize me for sure. So I think Clay's response in this, at the ending of this episode, is right. Like, I think he freaked out. He just loses his shit, takes one of the guns, and then they put him in a mental hospital. So yeah, I think they got it right for once. But the matter of the fact is that this show decided to put a fake school shooting for no reason. I think they should have just done the school shooting in season 2 and then maybe even get a better response than this, because this just didn't make sense. And with Clay going to the mental hospital, somehow he manages to escape, and then that's it. He's free to go. Okay. And like I was saying, you know, this show upped the horror factor. So that's why we get a Cabin in the Woods episode in this season, because for some reason we have to take everybody camping. Alex's dad is one of the chaperones. Clay's mom is one of the chaperones. So it's like, okay, why? But anyway, everybody's basically pissed off that they know that Monty was framed, and you know, this Diego decides to abduct Clay, throw him in a hole, and then we find out that somebody is out there haunting them. We don't know who it is. At the end of the season, it is revealed that Clay was the one doing all these things. So this is where Clay comes into play, because guess what? Clay got away with so many things. He's always getting hurt. He's always like pissing people off, and I just don't know how he didn't die off in the end. Like, like, I feel like if anything, he should have been the one to get taken out and not Justin, because Justin's death was very sad. I think Justin had one of the best arcs out of everybody because he went through some shit. Like, his storyline was like a roller coaster. He was doing fine. He got with Jessica, and then we found out that Bryce raped Jessica. So then he went into depression. He was doing drugs. He was selling his body to like basically survive. And then out of nowhere, the show is like, okay, let's check the list. We need AIDS. Yeah. The fact that Justin got killed off just to me was like, why? And then they decide to make the last episode about 2 hours long. Like, I feel like they ran out of things to write, so they were like, you know what, let's just smush these episodes together rather than break them off. Justin's death was played out for too long. Like, I mean, it was sad, yeah, but I was just like, all right, when is he gonna die? Like, you know, we get it, he's gonna die. Like, there's no way out of this. And yeah, seeing him go, yeah, he was one of my favorite characters along with Zach, so seeing him go, that was probably like where it got me. But it still pissed me off because it's like, why kill off Justin? I think that Clay has a big part on a lot of things that happened. At the end of the show, we learned that basically everybody gets away with murder. Like, this show should be called 13 Reasons on How to Get Away with Murder, because literally everybody gets away with murder. Arne should be the main one. Zach should be in jail for at least freaking beating up Bryce almost to a pulp. Clay covers up the school shooting. Tyler should be in jail because he almost shut up the school. Alex is the one that killed Bryce. And then we have Jessica, who was there with him and could have helped in some way. Yeah. So that's all my problems with season 4 of 13 Reasons Why. And I don't even know where they're going to go with this anymore. I mean, they said this was the finale, and I really hope it is, because I don't think I could watch another season. Like, I feel like each time I watched it, I was hoping that maybe something good would come out of it. But as I learned for 4 seasons now, I learned nothing. Basically, you know, your friends are going to cover your ass, I guess, and you're going to get away with a lot of bullshit. So yeah. Those are my thoughts. So yeah, guys, I had a lot of problems with this season, like I did with the previews, and I always wanted to do a video on 13 Reasons Why, but I just never got around it. But look out for my Lucifer season 4 review and also Dark season 3, because I actually enjoyed those seasons a lot. And then maybe a video after that will be on a movie. I don't know yet. I'm gonna see how my schedule looks like. But yeah, make sure you guys subscribe if you like this kind of content. Give my video a like. But as always, guys, stay tuned.